this module from the chapter Sum Application of Trigonometry. Let's do an interesting sum based on angle of depression. Let's see the sum first. The sum says that as observed from the top of a 75-meter high lighthouse from the sea level, the angles of depression of two ships are 30 degree and 45 degree. If one ship is exactly behind the other on the same side of the lighthouse, find the distance between the two ships. That is what the sum says. Let's understand what are we supposed to draw. The very first thing is, when you read the very first statement, you understand there's a 75-meter lighthouse, right, from the sea level. So from the sea level, the height of the lighthouse is 75 meter. And it says from as observed from the top of the lighthouse. That means there is an observer from the top. That means at point B. And in this sum, you don't have the height of the observer. That means the observer is going to be taken as a point at point B. From there, the angles of depression are made. That means from there he is going to see at a lower level, right, below the horizontal line. And what is he observing? He is observing two ships, right? Now, what have they said about that angle? They say that these two ships, right, one ship is exactly behind the other on the same side of the lighthouse. So if I consider one ship here to this side of the lighthouse, the other ship is just behind it on the same side. Observe, this is what you have, right? Beautiful. Now, let's take that point as D and C. So remember, this is how the things are placed. So one ship is at point C, the other one is at point D. And the observer is at point B. So that means from that point there is a horizontal line which we have. And from that point, when he is observing that point C, there is a line of sight. And that angle is the smaller angle which we have. And that is angle 30 degree. And from that point B, when he looks at point D, the ship at point D, there is another angle which is formed, angle of depression, which is 45 degree. This is what you're supposed to draw. And they say find the distance between the two ships. That means we need to find the length of DC. This is what the sum says. Now when you look at this particular sum, in this there are two right angle triangles, but there are no acute angles here. In those two right angle triangles, we need to find it. And it is there in the sum. How will you solve it further is, in any sum of angle of depression, you are doing this. Observe, now we know that XB and that AC, they are parallel. And we can take AC as a transversal. So observe that angle XBC and angle BCA. Now my next question is, what can you say about these two angles? Yes, we know that those two angles are alternate angles. So are they equal? Yes, they are equal. Because we know that they are equal for a very simple reason, because they are alternate angles, and when the lines are parallel, alternate angles are equal. So now we got this angle to be 30. Same way, now observe the other one. Observe angle XBD and angle BDA. What can you say about these two angles? What type of angles are they? Alternate angles. And we know that yes, these two angles are going to be equal. So we have that angle BDA also as 45 degree. Now this is what you are supposed to get from the figure. Now let's say we make those few descriptions there. The sum is going to be very easy. We say that AB is nothing but the height of the lighthouse, which is 75 meter, right? Then we have there AD is the distance of one ship from the foot of the lighthouse, right, which is AB. And then we have DC is that distance which we need to find between the two ships. So we take it as X, right? Now observe, so that is X what we need to find. Now how are we going to find this? That's the interesting thing. It's very simple. I said there are two right angle triangles. Just hold on to the common side. And here in this sum, the common side is already given to us as AB. Value is 75. So this is going to simplify the process. Observe. So consider one right angle triangle here. That is BAD. In this right angle triangle, observe for that angle ADB, the acute angle, what do we have? We have the opposite side AB. And we know we need to find that adjacent side AD. Right, this is going to help us to get that DC, right? So now observe opposite side and adjacent side, that means it is tan. So tan of 45, so we use tan of 45 is equal to AB upon AD. The value of tan 45 from the trigonometric table is 1. Beautiful. So we substitute that. So we get 1 is equal to 75 upon AD. Hence we get the value of AD as 75 meter. You got the value of AD. Right, let's say this is our equation number 1. Now this is going to help us in the next right angle triangle. So the next right angle triangle which you're going to consider is triangle BAC. In this right angle triangle, the acute angle, what is that? Angle C. For that acute angle, again we have the opposite side AB known to us, and we need to find that adjacent side AC, because that is going to help us to get the value of X, right? Now Opposite side, adjacent side, that means again which ratio? Yes, it is a ratio tan. So we use tan for that 30. So tan of 30 is equal to AB upon AC. Now AB, tan 30 from the trigonometric table, we know it is nothing but 1 upon root 3. AB we know is 75. And if you look at AC, what is AC? It is AD plus DC, that is 75 plus X, right? Beautiful. So we substitute that value there. Now you solve it further, just cross multiply. So we get X plus 75 is equal to root 3 into 75. Now you got an equation in X. Solve it further. So we get here X is equal to 75 root 3 minus 75. Now we can find the value of X further when we solve it, right? So we get X is equal to, now 75 is common here. So we take 75 common and into bracket we would get root 3 minus 1. Now do we solve it further? We know what's the value of root 3? It is 1.73. Yes, substitute that value there. So we get X is equal to 75 into bracket. It would be 1.73 minus 1. Now it's so easy, solve it further. So X is equal to, remains as it is, and 75 remains as it is. So into bracket we will have 1.73 minus 1. How much is that? 0.73. Now it's so easy, just multiply. So X is equal to 75 into 0.73. When you multiply, we get the value of X as, value is 54.75. So that means now, that is what we wanted. That is the value of DC. That means it is the distance between the two ships. So now we can write the final answer there. Therefore, the distance between the two ships is 54.75 meter, and that's the sum. Wasn't that easy? So students, whenever you do any sum based on two right angle triangle, it's so simple. What we have been doing for so many sum. Take one right angle triangle. For that acute angle, we use tan. For the next right angle triangle, we consider that acute angle. For that again we use tan. Maximum sum, 99% of the sum is going to be like this. And after using tan for both those acute angles, you're going to arrive at the value which we want, right? And it's so very simple. Interesting, right?